and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of Stuck in the Middle podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Uncle AK.
Hey, and I'm Reflex. Welcome. How you feeling, bro?
Man, I'm feeling great, man. It's Sunday. Looking forward to Monday.
Mm-hmm.
As always, man, yeah.
You're looking forward to Monday.
Yeah, though. You always got to look forward to Monday.
Hey, listen, if you are listening to this podcast on a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, we appreciate you for downloading Stuck in the Middle podcast. Definitely want to shout out our sponsor, Perfect Office Solution. They provide affordable, professional, flexible office space for entrepreneurs. So if you're looking for office space, I don't know which cent you use promo code SITM podcast. You get 10% off. And for the rest of the year, that's the rest of the year. That's good. This is exciting. You get free lease for the rest. That's November and October and December. If you actually hit them up right now and let them know we sent you, you get
for 10. All the guests that have been on Stuck in the Middle.
Yes.
Not everybody. It's just exclusive for the guests that have been on Stuck in the Middle
that have been on
podcast.
Stuck in the Middle podcast. And we know y'all listening. So, yeah, you know what I'm saying? Hit up Perfect Office. You get 10% off or free if you've been a guest on Stuck in the Middle podcast. And we definitely appreciate you for checking it out. You know, on the social media platforms, we are SITM podcast. And we are going to get this episode started, man.
Yes, sir.
You know, it's this one thing that is huge now in the black realm. Queen, you know what I mean? Like men calling their ladies queens and sons calling their mothers queens. And I'm going to let you introduce our guests
yes,
in
sir,
the
yes, sir.
building.
In the building, we got two special guests. The amazing Naomi Lynn. She's the founder of We Are Queens, created to bring women of diverse background and experiences together. And with her is Victoria Wordsworth. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome.
Yeah, welcome, ladies.
Thank you.
Yeah, how y'all feeling?
We're feeling good.
Yeah, that's great.
Feeling good.
Queen's feeling good. I like it. I like it. I like
Yeah,
it.
it's Sunday, so
Originally, we were expecting just Naomi, but she brought another awesome queen. So we are delighted for you to join
Thank you
us.
for having me.
It's a
No
pleasure.
problem. It's a pleasure. Welcome to Stuck in the Middle podcast.
Thank you.
Before we went on, I was just asking us about, what stuck in the middle was. We had that little chat. So now this is your turn to answer what We Are Queens is about. But before you even do that, let's let the people know who Naomi is and who Victoria is.
Well, hello, everybody. My name is Naomi Lynn. I am the founder of We Are Queens. I am a mother and a wife.
I like it. Easy. Yeah.
That was easy. A little hard to follow, but my name is Victoria Wordsworth. I am a mom and an entrepreneur in the making, I should say, because I'm trying to start something. I guess I'm stuck in the middle as well. So
We're going to find out.
Yeah.
We're going to find out. So elaborate on We Are Queens, what it is about, and why did you feel the need to start this, We Are Queens?
I have two children. My children are now 23 and 22 years old. Let's say 17, 18 years ago, I was in an abusive relationship with my children's father, and which led me to leaving my children and going to live in a shelter. And when I got to the shelter, I was angry. I was upset with God and everything around me. As a mother, I felt like I failed my children, leaving my home and coming to a shelter. So while I was there, I just said, God, you know what? If you get me out of this situation, I promise I will always give back and I will always serve. And I stayed in the shelter for like a year, 9 months to a year. When I got out, my kids, ever since then, we have been serving and giving back. Now they're older now. Last year, we was asked to go serve at a men's shelter in D.C., Washington, D.C. While we was there, someone came to me and asked me, what's the name of your organization? And I said, I don't have an organization. I'm just here serving with my two children. So after we served, we came outside. My son, he said to me, Mom, why don't you have an organization? And I said, well, what would I call it? He said, you can call it We Are Queens.
Wow.
And I said, We Are Queens. It's okay. I like that. So there was November. December came. My son was still on me like, Mom, you got to do something. Let's do a shelter thing. I called on my girls. I put it out there on Facebook. Social media is everything nowadays. I put it on social media, and everyone came through. We served the homeless shelter. The shelter that I stayed in 20-something years, 17, 18 years ago, whatever. That's where we end up serving at. And from November till now, We Are Queens just took off. And ever since then, that's where we at now.
It's November of last year?
Last year.
Oh, so you're not even a year yet.
A year, November.
Wow.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank you. And we've been serving. We've been serving at men's shelter, women's shelter. We also do prom drive for high school student who parents can afford to send them to prom. Last year we did our prom drive, and we sent like almost 100 kids to prom, providing prom dresses and tuxedo for kids. We also provide toiletry for college freshmen, first year in college, because being in college your first year is kind of hard. So we provide toiletry for and whoever in need. We do our best to help them out.
Just curious, were they your two kids from your abusive?
Yes.
Okay, and so did you take them out of the marriage with you?
I was
don't know
not
if you
married.
Okay, gotcha. Relationship.
Relationship, yes. I took my
Gotcha.
kids with me.
Gotcha.
Yes.
I don't know if that was too much to intrude,
No,
but
that's fine. No, that's fine. Yeah, I took them with me, and they have been my number one supporter, my biggest blessing. Of course, I'm married now. I've been married for 15 years now. The wonderful husband who's the father to my beautiful children. So it all worked out right.
That's
Amen.
great.
That's great. That's great. That's
I gotta just get the cat out the back.
No problem.
When we look up. Thank you for even reaching out to us first off.
Yes.
You reached out to us that you want to come on the platform. We really do appreciate that. Secondly, we do research on our guests and stuff. And we realize that when we're hitting, say, for example, your Instagram, profile, it was private. So we ask ourselves, you are giving back to the community, but your profile is private. Explain that. I don't get the reason behind that.
I have my Instagram, and I have my We Are Queen Instagram, and I have my private Instagram. So I'm not sure if you're talking about my private one is my private one. Even though I'm out here serving, but I do have my own private life too.
Right.
So I don't know if that's the one.
No, it
you're
was the
talking
We the Queens one. When I
It's a private?
Yeah, it's
I
a
didn't know it
private.
was private.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's no reason. There's no reason. If it's private, it should have been private. I didn't.
Oh, okay.
I didn't realize. It
I was just
private.
wondering why.
No, it shouldn't be private.
Yeah.
So Victoria, what about We Are Queens sparked you to join? And how did you come to be on board?
Well, like Naomi said, there's a lot of women in the group that has commonality, because if you talk to a lot of the women in the group, a lot of us have been in situation where we felt we needed to leave. But in my case, it wasn't to the point where I had to go stay in the shelter, fortunately for me. And there's always that time when it comes around the holiday, you're like, oh, I should go to a soup kitchen or wherever and help out, but it never happens because you get too busy or whatever the case might be. So once Naomi got the idea to start a group, she called me. She was like, hey, I want to start a group. I want to call it We Are Queens. This is what I want us to do. I want us to serve a community. Remember when I told you about the story about me being in the shelter with the kids? I want to do that for other women who are going through the same issues. And I was like, of course, because we are all one paycheck away from being in someone's shelter. So I thought, of course, I'd like to do it. Once we got started, she contacted other females she knew, put it on Facebook, and the people who felt like it was something they wanted to do, they went ahead and went into it for force, and then we started rolling.
Is there any relation between you two, or just like a friendship?
We're friends, but we're sisters.
Yeah, I like it. I'm curious about the name We Are Queens, though. You mentioned your first place you served was a men's shelter. So We Are Queens, is it only women that are serving, or are you only targeting? You're not only targeting women, because like you mentioned, with the drive, you also help out boys, and it's both boys and girls.
The name We Are Queen, like I said, it came from my son, and like I said, before that, I'm always the one that's host an event at my house and stuff like that, and I'm always doing stuff with women all the time. Like, hey, come here, queen. So I think my son figured, okay, since you're always doing this queen stuff, if you're gonna do that, call it We Are Queen. But definitely, it's open to everybody. When we serve men's shelter, we serve women's shelter, we serve men and women's shelter.
Right, and we
So
also have men volunteers.
and we have lots of men who volunteers. So you guys definitely can come and volunteer with us.
Yeah, man, definitely.
Yeah, for sure.
I ain't scared to put no
yeah.
gloves on.
Saturday. Yep. Any
So
Saturday you come
go
in
ahead.
and just
Any Saturday?
Yeah. So once if we're having because I think our next event or next feeding is in December.
Yes.
Because we have this gala that we're getting ready for, so a lot of our focus is on that. But we do have something coming up in December, so more than likely, we'll probably be on a Saturday. And once we put that information out, you're free to inbox us and say, "Oh, I'd like to, come and volunteer." And then, we like the Kings coming up and helping the Queens help the community.
Prior to that, how often did you guys volunteer?
How often?
Yeah.
It's just whenever somebody asks us that they need us to come out, or they heard about us, can we come to their shelter? Or a student would get in contact with Naomi in her inbox on Facebook and say, I'm going to school. I don't have any toiletry, or my parents couldn't pay this amount and I need it before they kick me out of school. And then she'll start that line of train and like, okay, I have a student, they need this, we need to come up with it by this time, or else they'll get kicked out of school, or they need toiletry or whatever it is. And then the chain start going around.
Yeah, that was my next question. Like, how do you come up with the stuff? You know what I mean?
That's what we do. Right now, we just take it out of our
Self-funded,
pockets.
yeah.
Right now,
Yeah.
it's out of our pockets. We're not getting any grants or anything like that. But definitely, I'll say people out there, they're so good. When they see someone struggling, go to some high time, you put that stuff out there, they'll come and help. I mean, we don't ask for a fortune, we don't ask for a lot, but whatever we can give, it helps. And people really do donate to us. And my queen, which I call my tribe, these sisters come through. They come through. We help. We work together, and we come out of our pockets. But it's for a good cause. It's for a good cause. Because, like she was saying, there was a young lady who's in college. Let me rewind. There's a young lady who aged out of foster care.
Right.
And she had one more, and she had just got accepted into Bowie State, and but she didn't have nothing to go with, and 3 days for her to go to school, they reached out to us like, look, this young lady need help. How can you help her? And me being a mom, I have my son who's in college, my daughter who's in college, and me being a mom, I said, there's no way I can let this young lady just don't have no help after her, what she's been through in her life and with foster care. That's a lot by itself. So 3 days we put together. When I'm telling you, we have loads and cars and trucks. People came through for this young lady. Like I think she's good for a year. So you just put it out there and people reach out.
So let me get this straight. I'm just curious.
Sure.
Shout out to all the people who all the guests we've had on that volunteer too as well.
Distant
relatives, and
that's a lot.
Yeah, that's a lot. They volunteer once a month or probably once every 2 weeks or so. So the difference between such an organization and yours is they come to you with their needs and say, okay, I'm in need of this, I'm lacking in such and such, and you provide that service for them.
Yes. Or at least do my best,
right?
To provide, Yeah.
Does it end at just providing what as far as what are some of the programs that you teach these kids? Does it just end as, hey, here's some stuff, go to college? Do you sit them down, talk to them?
Well,
as queens, as mothers.
So like for the college kids who need help, they don't reach out to us. They have someone who reach out to us for them. And some of them don't want to be talked to. They don't want you to know their name. We have to respect that. So we have never gotten to the point yet where we go out there and say, look, do this and do that, because we haven't met them in person yet. But they will send me a thank you letter or something like that.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah.
What is a purpose-driven life? And how does your organization, ensure that most of these kids, are living a purpose-driven life?
I think for somebody to have a purpose-driven life is just to be an all-around good person. You don't have to be like the worthiest person in the world, but if you have something that you can share with someone, what if it's a hope or encouragement or whatever it is, to let somebody know your story. And through that story, they can say, oh, if you can do it, you've been in a homeless shelter, you had 2 kids, you managed through, you made it through, now you are a successful woman, married now, living your life. And to all the other women in the group who have similar stories to that, it may not be as dramatic as Naomi's, but we all have a story and we all can share that with the young people who are asking for assistance, or the shelters that we go to. And even when we go to a women's shelter, even though we can't post certain things about them or even take pictures in the shelter with them to say, like, we've been to this place and this is what we've been doing, instead of just serving someone a plate of food and leaving them, you sit there and you hear the conversation say, I had this job, I was making this much money, and then I got sick, and then I'm in a homeless shelter. Or, I got here because I was getting married to someone and they brought me over, and I guess I wasn't what they wanted or needed. And then I don't have any family here. So now this is the situation I'm in. So just giving someone a little bit of your light so they can be able to see that there is a light at the end of the tunnel.
And also one thing people need to understand about being in the homeless shelter. Everyone in the homeless shelter, they're not on drugs. They're not crazy. It's just sometimes life throws this stuff at you, and it puts you in a situation where you have no choice, like my situation, So, and that's one thing I try to tell anybody that I come across. They're like, "He's going to the homeless shelter. You help him." You want to say everybody in the shelter are not. Yes, some people that they're on drugs, but whenever we go feed, my thing is to all my ladies, we serving them, because we don't like to call it feeding. I like to call it serving them. We serve them, and after we serve them, we sit down with them individually and we talk to these people. And when you talk to these people, man, do you appreciate your life? You're like, wow, I'm crying because it's hot outside, or I'm crying because this and this. And hear these people, like women, for me, I'm strong on abuse. I'm strong on, because I was an abused woman. It was bad. So I tell my girls, I like to talk to these women and hear the stories and tell them, look, I was there, and if I can do it, trust me, you can do it too. So yeah.
I know we promised not to go in the political route, but one of the stories that has been in the in the papers and in the news recent weeks has been the Kavanaugh and Dr. Ford story. And I only mention that because of of your story, and I'm gonna bring it back to you as far as like how do you see our culture now, as far as like not only sexual abuse and rape and culture and things like that. How do you see the conversation going? Is it encouraging to you? Is it long time coming, or?
It is encouraging to see that people are talking about abuse and how to not let women feel ashamed of saying, this happens to me, and I want someone to investigate or look at it, or just don't brush it off after I say it. And it's good to see that they are paying attention and they're willing to hear her out and investigate and see if there's something to it. And if there is, then they need to do what needs to be done.
For me, that topic is so sensitive to me, because I hate, can you cut? Okay, I keep going.
Keep going. Keep going.
When I was a little girl, I was raped by my uncle. And I was raped over and over. And I'm like, I hate to
Take your time. Take your time.
So for me, it's a big deal, because back home, nobody listens to you if you tell them, this person is touching me. He's raping me over and over and over. Nobody has your back, not even your parents. So hearing this, I'm all for it. I'm all for it. If a man abuse a woman, definitely put him away. Put him away. I'm so sorry.
I mean,
Take your time. Take your time.
it's to say, like, especially coming from African cultures or even the Black culture, it's not something that, is spoken about. And it's sad to see that it takes a white woman saying, like, I was, as a teenager, this happened to me, and have them pay attention. Even when Anita Hill came out, no one paid attention. And it's just the whole thing of the culture not being able to say, like, okay, this is happening and we need to take a look at it. This is what it took for the country to wake up and say, oh, this is really happening. And it's sad that's the only reason it's in the forefront of the country.
Last week, the Me Too movement celebrated its 1 year anniversary. In your opinion, what do you think this movement changed in America's eyes? Like right now in this time, when it comes to the woman, a lot has changed. Since
we have been
last
heard.
year.
We have been heard.
What did it take, in your opinion, for all this to happen?
Go ahead.
What did it take?
What did it take?
It took for women women who've been like suppressing their fears for a long time to get the courage to say, me too. There are a lot of little Black girls, a lot of little just girls all over the country, and boys who have experienced this, but the taboo of telling your relatives that someone is hurting me, or telling a family member or your parents, your brother or your father, whoever it is hurting me, is not something we talk about. And for a few women to have the courage to say, this is happening, and you guys need to stop and take a look and listen, so that people can stop doing what they're doing, because it's like abusive power. If there's an adult in charge of a kid and is abusing the kid, that's a power struggle. If there's a boss who is abusing his colleagues who are under him, it's the same power struggle. So it's taking a long time, and it's going to take even longer to get it to what it actually needs to be for people to say, like, oh, this is happening, and if you are doing these things, you cannot, be allowed to do it.
Miss
I don't know if you
Naomi.
had anything to add to that.
Yes, and for me, it gave me the courage to tell my parents. And this is years and years and years and years. And finally, I can sit my parents down and say, look, my dad, I love my dad with all my heart. My dad's a good father. And I can say, this is what your brother did to me and my sisters for so many years. And now, if I was back home, I don't think he would listen to me. But I think because he's here and he's seen it on TV and he's seen what's going on, he listened to me. He cried. He was sorry. So yes, definitely.
When you say
I'm
back
happy.
home, where's home?
Liberia.
Liberia.
That's huge.
So, yeah, that's really huge.
That's really,
It's huge.
I don't
Yeah.
I don't
I think that's
you,
every African country.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
huge.
This is something we don't talk about.
Man. Yeah, I was just watching the documentary. This is a free plug for Netflix, City of Hope or City of Joy.
Watch that too.
Check that documentary. I know it's talking about war and everything, but it's also in the same step as the relationship. Just curious, and then we're gonna get off the topic. I know you get emotional. How hard was it for you to come out of that relationship?
With my children's father,
Mm-hmm.
it was very hard because at the time I wasn't working. I was a home mom with two small children. He had a good job. He took care of us, so it was in his hands, But after you've been hit so many times, when you sleep, someone throw water in your face. It's like, okay, I got to leave, because what example am I setting for my daughter and my son? So it took a while, but finally, enough was enough, and I left. And leaving was the best thing
Right.
that ever happened to me.
We got a queen in the building now.
Flex, I know you want to leave that topic. I know you want to leave that topic so bad, but
Not so bad. I'm not trying.
but now in terms of abusive relationships, we live in this moment now where women have started fending for themselves in terms of they're going out there and working. They're working for themselves. They don't actually need a man, to support them. And I applaud them for that. What say you to those other women who just choose to, quote unquote, stick to the norms of a stay-home mom per se, or a stay-home wife? What do you say to that? And let's just say, they in an abusive relationship and still thinking that way.
If they're in a,
Yeah.
like I said, it's easy for anyone to just get out.
Right.
It's very easy, but it's hard to get out. Because when you have a man, especially when you're a mother with children, you have a man say, nobody wants you, nobody's gonna talk to you. Look at you, you got two children, you're ugly, or puts you down. After a while, you start to think, okay, I'm just gonna stay here. I'm just gonna it'll get better tomorrow. Every day will get better, but then it don't get better. So it just take that woman herself to say enough is enough, because you could talk from, because I have people told me, you gotta leave him. But then where am I gonna go? I have two children. I'm not working. Where am I gonna go? Be like, oh my God, you're stupid. You're not listening. You're not stupid, but you're thinking of my babies, my children. You're thinking for your children. So it's hard. But when a woman is fed up, she's fed up, and she'll leave.
I think a lot of that, someone making a decision to leave is your livelihood being attached to someone else's. For instance, I've always worked, so that hasn't been a problem, but there came a point in my life where I became very ill, and working was like sparingly. I would work for a month, and then 3 months I would be hospitalized, and then I'm not working. So if your livelihood is attached to someone And even if you have the strength or you've gotten the willpower to say, you know what, today's the day, it's the idea of, okay, if I leave, how am I going to do this? And not only am I leaving by myself, but I do have a child
Yes.
to look after when I leave this situation that I'm in. And I can go a day hungry without food. Can she? And how that day turned into a week and that week turned into a month. So how long can I go without feeding my child, without getting help from this person? And so all of that thinking and worry make you stay in situations longer than you should be in it. And I think you can't really tell anyone like, okay, you're going through this, you have to leave now. And it has to be when that person has the courage, the financial strength to do it, and the willingness to do it, to say, you know what, okay, I got myself in a place. Even if you are getting money from your significant other and you're stashing it, like, okay, you give me this money, I'm supposed to be doing this with it, but I'm keeping this because this is my escape plan. And so at least 6 months to have something when you leave and say, that's going to sustain me until I get on my feet. But you can't just pick up and leave, because especially if you're not by yourself, you have to think about the kids that you're taking out with you and how they're going to survive when you get out there.
You mentioned your queens. How many people make up your team?
10.
10. How do you delegate duties, and how do you get everybody, to focus on one goal?
Right now, I don't say you do this, you do that. It's always a group meeting. We all sit together, we all talk about it, and we all make a decision on it. And so far, it's been working.
What's your advice to other entrepreneurs? Because you're an entrepreneur or CEO, CEOs, on how to, bring a business up. I know we have one in the making in the building, as far as how to grow the business. I'm speaking into your life right now.
I'm taking it into existence.
Look, take it. Well, it's real easy. I said, look, if it's on your heart, go for it. If it don't work, try again.
Yeah.
It's just that simple.
What what you mentioned in the start, you thinking about something. You got something in the pipe.
Yeah,
Tell us
thinking
about it.
something. I have a couple of things that I want to do. Like, I am a Liberian girl from the bone to the root of my spirit. And so just having Liberian products out wherever I am, whatever it is, I'm wearing my Liberian clothes to work or whatever the case might be. I just want to just spread that out into the world, whether it's fabric or bags or clothing or doing things back home. Yeah, so I'm just looking forward to that and see how I can.
Listen, next November you're gonna be here.
I'm gonna be here talking to you about my business.
That's how it's gonna. That's how it's gonna happen.
That's right.
Yes, from your lips to God ears.
Yep.
That's right.
The Black Tie Gala, October 13th.
Yes, sir.
That's your first gala.
Yep.
What should we look forward to, or what should the people expect, coming to this gala?
Plug it in.
Plug it in. Tell people what they need to know prior to that date.
Just looking forward to great women speakers, encouragement, entrepreneurship, sisterhood, giving back to the community, ways you can help support We Are Queens, and just having a good time. We want to be able to inform everyone who's coming about what it is that we're doing, but we also want everybody to have a great time. We don't just want it to be like a stiff thing where we're just talking the entire time. We have laughs and, talk about what we're doing, have other women come up and speak, and then have a good time after that.
When is the event gonna be?
November 17th.
Where?
Rockville.
How can people register or RSVP?
You can get tickets on Eventbrite. We Are Queens.
All right.
Yeah, or you can inbox one of the queens for tickets as well.
All right. Shout out to the queens.
I want to go back, and forgive me for this, but it's just it's just something that's been lingering in my mind. I've always wanted to ask this question, to somebody who endured rape and all that. How, being that you're here today talking about this, being getting married again, with two, still two kids or more?
No, just
Just two, yeah, with two kids.
no, I've been married once.
Have you
My
been married
husband.
once? Okay. And having to form We Are Queens and going out and serving people. With most, let me say, some women, they sit with that pain inside, and that kind of hinders them from moving on and doing bigger and better things like We Are Queens. How were you able to put this behind you, if you have, and just see everything in a positive way?
I don't even think I put it behind me because I can't even talk about it without crying. Is I'm angry about it. I'm still angry about it. I'm hurt about it. But I learned to live day by day. You know, I can't let that stop me. You know, I'm just grateful to God that, I'm not where I was. I'm getting better with it, but definitely it still hurt. And then when I watch the TV and I see all this stuff, I'm one of those women watching TV like, yes, put him in jail, lock him up. Like I'm waiting, like, I'm sorry, Bill, whoever, put him in jail. So I'm not, I haven't moved from here, but I'm dealing with it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm dealing with it day by day.
What advice would you give any young girl or lady out there, who...
Speak up. Speak up.
Yeah.
Speak up. I don't care if it don't believe you. Speak. I wish I would have done that. I wish, even though it was in Africa, but I wish I would have done that because I carried it so long that I carried it into my relationship where I wouldn't let a man touch me sexually. When you touch me, then it plays in my head. So I said, speak up. Tell somebody. If you don't want to your parent, tell your girlfriend, tell your teacher, tell somebody because someone is going to listen to you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I just think as a mom with a 7-year-old girl, it's just, you have to keep talking to your kids. I know that ever since I had my child and she was old enough to speak, I taught her about her body parts. And instead of labeling them nicknames and all of that, I don't do that. And I know there are some people, friends that I know or people that I know are uncomfortable with me telling her things about herself, but you just have to keep talking to your kids. And it's, like, this is wrong, this is right. And if this happened, you have to tell somebody. If it's not me, your teacher. And if it's your teacher, you need to tell another teacher. You just have to keep talking to your kids because it's sad to say, but it's scary. You
Right.
drop your kids off at school and you don't know what's going to happen when you get them back after school. So it's a constant fear and prayer every day when you walk out the door. So you just have to keep communicating to your kids.
And also one thing too, when my daughter, my son too, but my daughter, because of what I went through, I wouldn't let my kids stay over nobody's house. Not even it was like, and if they went there, I'd wait for her to call me. Mom, I'm coming to get you. I don't care if you're in Africa, I'm coming to get you. I've always been our protector, and I always told my daughter, if someone touch you, I will believe you. Tell mommy,
She gonna kill him.
I'm going to believe you because I'm coming. Yes, I'm coming for them.
Exactly.
So my son too. I tell him, if someone touch you, tell me, like, Mom.
Terry
no,
Crews.
tell Mom. Let me know. If you can't talk, if nobody believe you, I'm gonna believe you because I've been there. So the grace of God. No one has. My son is 22. I'm like, look, you're in college. Anybody? You're like, Mom, for real. You gotta stop that right now. But yeah, tell
Have to keep
somebody.
communicating.
Yeah.
Tell somebody. It's so, and also parents. Single girls who in love with these guys. If your kids come to you, listen to your kids. Listen to your children. You have to listen to them.
I'm about to touch a topic that's very sensitive, and we're having this debate the other day.
This one is not sensitive enough.
It is, but this one is sensitive to let's say the youth, of this, millennium, and especially the women. And you guys, you're of a different generation prior to this one. So let's just say, you see your daughter walk out the house without, she puts on this dress without a bra, and she's going out, say to a club, and it's short, right? And some men have the tendencies of just grabbing and stuff like that. 2-part question: the man grabbing, should he be blamed for it, even though he's not supposed to?
Yes.
What do you mean, even though
Yes.
you're not supposed to?
Yes, he
even
should
though
be
he's
blamed for
supposed
it.
to. I'm just asking. Did I say he's not supposed to?
No, you say he's not supposed to.
No, even though he's supposed to.
He should be.
You should be, right?
Yeah.
I don't
Okay.
care if she walks out,
Out in her
naked.
underwear.
You don't
Right.
touch.
Don't touch her.
Never
Don't
victim
touch her.
blame.
Yeah.
I don't care. Don't touch her.
It's her
And-
right to come out however
but
she
wants.
feels or
Now, me as a
pleases.
mother, I wouldn't,
Yeah.
you know, but even if I used to, because some young girls don't have those
Supervision.
role model or
Yeah.
intellect, so they want to be grown so much, they want people to want them and accept them, so they fit in. But that does not,
Give you
I
the
repeat,
right
does not
to
give
touch her,
any
grab her,
man
grope her.
grab,
No.
rope, or touch them in the biscuit, whatever it is. Don't do it.
Touch what?
Did you say
Touch
touch
a
a biscuit?
I'm trying to start off with cry, so that's why I'm using different words. Don't
Yeah.
touch.
Don't touch
Don't
the
touch.
bud.
Do not
Don't
touch.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's a
Period.
debate we have.
She
You know, we
has
have
the right
always
to
constantly,
dress
and people have
any
like
way
different
she
opinions to
pleases.
it. I'm like,
No, do not touch.
Yeah.
Do not touch. Do not touch.
Yes. Just
Do-
see the big old stop sign.
not
Yes.
touch.
Yes.
Men, do
Nah.
not touch.
That's
And
Absolutely.
do not victim blame.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's
All right,
right.
cool. I get it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Second part question.
yeah, we are Queens. You know, charity begins at home. So, do you guys plan on taking this back home, or is it just gonna be here?
Absolutely.
Yes. We are great goals is to open transitional homes for abused women and children, you know, here, and also definitely for me, especially because it's happening right now to some girl back home right now.
Absolutely.
So that's one thing we all talk. We want to go back home and work on educating these young girls, these mothers. You know, listen to your daughters. You know, just because he's your brother, that doesn't mean he's not going to touch your daughter.
Right.
You know, so speak to your children, listen to your daughters. You know, and if they come to you, hear them out. So yeah, definitely want to take it back home.
For sure.
How can people connect with we are Queens? I keep saying we as Queens. We are Queens.
Right now, our website is
We
under
are
construction, so we still working on it, but we got Facebook and Instagram.
All right.
It's
Hey.
okay if you want to be a queen. You know, go around.
Hey,
Give
man.
me the honorary
Yeah.
member.
I'm gonna come help as a kid. I don't know what you're
You
talking
come,
about.
King, you come through. You come
Yeah.
You know what I'm
through.
saying?
Yeah,
I'll forever remain a kid.
Yeah. Just wanted to add, you know, prior to this conversation, mental health. You know, speak up. Don't hold things inside. And,
Right.
Yeah,
you know, because
absolutely.
lately we've been losing a lot of young souls, you know. For what? You know, for what? So just speak up. Seek counsel. Seek somebody, your mother, dad, brother, sister, auntie, a counselor, you know, your pastor, whichever. Just talk to somebody. Don't hold things inside. And together, you know, let's build a bigger and better
Use
community.
your village.
Yeah.
Yeah. And speaking up, you can definitely share this episode with your network, SITM podcast. I think it's been a great conversation, one that is much needed. And yeah, you can definitely, you know, if you enjoy the conversation, share it on your social media platforms and your network. That's SITM podcast. And if you want to follow us, we appreciate you guys for come kicking it
you're
with us.
Thank you so much.
Yeah,
for
this has
having
been
us.
great,
so
and
much.
looking forward to coming out and putting hands to the plow and not just
Yes,
talking about it.
yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Hope to see you guys at the gala.
yeah, man. You know what I'm
do
saying?
that.
Black tie. You know what I'm saying? I got some
that's
stuff.
right.
You know, in the closet. I'm always trying to flex. You
Clean
know
up
what
a
I'm
little
saying?
bit. Come out there, have a good time.
And also, I
Yep.
want to add before you guys, for the gala, all proceeds goes to helping abused women and children. So please come through, come support. Just come and see what's we about and what we're doing in the community.
Definitely, I like it. Hey, this has been Stuck Into the Podcast.
We're not out just
We're
yet.
not out just yet because we got a party coming
Yeah, you
up.
already know that.
Tell them about what we got coming through, bro.
Hey, next week, Sunday, 4 p.m. through 9:30 p.m., we're going to be at Perfect Office Solutions
Laurel
here in Laurel
locations.
location.
Yeah.
You know, check out our IG, you know, at SITN Podcast, you know, for all of that. You know, the promo, the flyers going to be on there. You know, come one, come all. It's going to be a great event.
Yeah, man.
We're going to have, possibly we're going to have all the guests we've had on the show.
Possibly.
Possibly, you know, some of them are out of town, so hopefully they can make it too as well.
Naomi and Victoria gonna be in the building.
Yeah, you
We'll
know.
be there. We'll be there.
Yeah. And, you know, network, connect, drink, eat, dance.
Yeah, man.
It's going to be live.
DJ
so,
Parag gonna be in there.
Yeah.
Dr. Jen gonna be in there.
Yeah.
King Paul gonna be in there.
Yeah.
Chico gonna be in there.
Yeah.
Shout out my man Dude's gonna be in there.
Right.
Ma Foncham gonna be in there.
Right.
Achiri's gonna be in there.
Right.
My mom gonna be in there. My
Right.
pop's gonna be in there. You know what I'm saying? 100 episodes of Stuck in the
whole
Middle
fam.
podcast. Everybody gonna be
People
in there.
got to be there. It's going to be lit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pull up.
Got friends coming from out of town that are going to be in there too.
Hey.
You know what I mean? So
Hey.
even Siri
Siri
going to
gonna
be in
be-
there.
Siri's like, I wanna come. Hey, listen, this is Stuck in Real Podcast.
And we out.
Yes, sir.